Sage, and I'm going to teach you how to set up your own skateboard. First, we're going to run through the parts of the skateboard. Deck, a sheet of grip tape, pair of trucks, mounting bolts, wheels, and bearings. Tools you will need to set up your board are a file, a razor blade, an Allen key, and a T-tool. Now we're going to grip the board. So what we'll do, take the board out of plastic, make sure it's clean, and now we're going to put the grip tape on. So when we're starting, we want to put it on the tail first, and then work our way to the front. So we'll peel the back of the grip tape off. And we'll start at the tail. Make sure your grip tape's centered over your board. And we'll put it down on the tail. And then start working our way towards the front. As we're going forward, make sure that we push down firmly so we move out any air bubbles from the grip tape. So we keep working our way towards the front of the board. So you want to make sure it's down flat, so you just get your paper, rub over it. Now we're going to mark out the deck shape using the file. So we put the file on top of the board, scrape. As you're scraping, you want to make sure you're pushing down firmly to get a good impression. Keep coming around. Now we have the outline of our deck. This is where we start to cut the excess grip tape off. So before we start to cut, we want to make sure that grip tape's lifted off from the deck a little bit, stop it from sticking as you're cutting. And this is where we grab our blade and we start to cut in. So what we do is we push into the side of the grip tape there and cut in towards the edge of the board. As we get onto the edge of the board, the last thing we want to do is actually dig into the deck itself. So we hold the blade at an angle and start bringing it along the deck in one smooth motion. So as we continue on around, keeping that blade steady and at an angle, and we come to the other side. And remember, one smooth motion is what you want to do with this side. And we continue on and around. Now that we've cut off the excess grip tape, what we do with the excess, we fold it over and we rub along the edge of the board. So we keep rubbing down the excess areas here. And now we're finished and we've gripped up the board. Next part for us to do is to try and find the holes where we're going to put the mounting bolts through. So turn your deck over, get your Allen key, and just punch through the holes. Now that we've found the bolt holes, it's time to mount the trucks. Now to mount the trucks, we have our mounting bolts. So we'll open that up, and you should have 8 nuts and 8 bolts. Okay, so what we do now, we've found the holes for the mounting bolts. Push through. So as we're pushing through, you can actually see the bolt come through the deck. Put the truck on, and what we do is we finger tighten these bolts on. And now what we do, get your Allen key into the top of the bolt, put your skate tool on the nut and tighten in a clockwise manner. And always do your nuts and bolts in a diagonal motion each time, so then you actually put even pressure on your truck and your deck. Now that we've finished mounting the trucks to the deck, you want to make sure that your mounting bolts are flush with the deck and that your kingpins are facing the inside of the board. Now it's time to put your bearings into your wheels. One way we can do it in the shop is by using a bearing press. Another way to do it without a bearing press is by using your truck. So let's start putting our bearings in our wheels. Let's open up our wheels. You should have 4 wheels in total. And now for our bearings. You should have 8 bearings in your packet. It will be 2 bearings per wheel. The first one I'm going to show you is by using this bearing press. What we'll do, you get 1 bearing, you put it on, then you grab a wheel, put that on, and then you put your other bearing on. With these, you want to make sure that you put them on with the bearing shield facing outwards. And then what we do is we move it down and press the bearings in with a squeezing motion. Now I'm going to show you how to put your bearings in your wheel without a bearing press. First step, take off your axle nut, put a bearing on again, facing down with the shield. You want to push down so you make sure the bearing's all the way in. Put the other bearing in, flip the wheel over and push down again. Give the wheel a spin to make sure it sits flush, and that's how you put a bearing in without using a bearing press. Now that we've got our bearings inside our wheels, it's time to put our wheels onto our truck. So what we're going to do is loosen up this axle nut, take off one of the washers, put your wheel onto your axle, put your other washer on now, and then put on the axle nut. So you want to just tighten it up enough so it allows the wheel to move freely. Okay, now that we've put that wheel on, we do the same process for the rest of the wheels that we're going to be putting on. Now that we've set up the board, the last thing you want to check is how tight your trucks are. So go for a little skate, and then if you find that your trucks are too loose, to tighten them up, on your kingpin nut, turn clockwise. If you want your trucks looser, on your kingpin nut, turn anti-clockwise. That's how you set up a skateboard. If you have any questions at all or need help with anything, you can reach me on the Board World forums. Till next time, I'm Sage and I'll see you later.